Let us pray. Holy God, holy and mighty, awesome, exciting, and delightful in your holiness, make us pure in heart to see you, make us merciful to receive your kindness, to share your love with all our human family. Then will your name be hallowed on earth as it is in heaven. Amen.
Amen.
Please be seated. Good morning.
Good morning.
So the month, that makes quite a difference. The month of May is a very special month in the history of St. Philip's. Because during the month of May, way back in the year 1754, the original church of St. Philip's, all the way out in historic Brunswick town, was consecrated. It was finally finished. The bishop came and consecrated it, and they began to have worship services there. And then, later that same year, this part might sound familiar, but a huge tropical storm came and did significant damage to the building. It was a long time before they were able to get back in. It's funny how things repeat themselves like that. So every year, about this time, during the 10:30 service, we go to the historic Brunswick town site and celebrate Holy Communion. It's kind of a continuation of that celebration. It's kind of an honor to that memory. It's a way of remembering where we've come from and how it's led to where we are now. The historic ups and downs that the congregation of St. Philip's has been through the years. It's a way of reminding that in spite of all of that, in spite of the storms of wind and water, in spite of the fire that destroyed the building that they created after the first one, in spite of that fire, the Revolutionary War, throughout all those ups and downs, St. Philip's persists. It continues to meet. The people of St. Philip's continue to gather in praise of God's name. And we continue that today. Passed down through all those generations, all those decades, onto us. We who have gathered here this morning, we just happen to be the latest link in that long chain stretching so far back. That long chain of worship. And in fact, we're only one part of that chain, one part of one link. Because even though we're connected to this larger story with the history of St. Philip's, we're also connected to a much larger story going even further back. A story that goes back far past the founding of St. Philip's, further back even than the arrival of Christopher Columbus on these shores. A story that goes back past Martin Luther, the 95 Theses and the Reformation, past the Crusades, the fall of Rome, the great councils of the church, past even the journeys of Paul the Apostle and his evangelism. Our history leads us all the way back to Christ. Our history leads back to this gospel, to this commandment to love one another. That's our root. That's where we've come from. And that commandment, that love, is also what leads us into our future. In our gospel this morning, Jesus is having his Last Supper with the disciples. They've gathered together to break bread. And as they do, he leaves them with final instructions on how to continue on after he's left them, after he's no longer with them in the same way. He leaves them with one command: to love one another. And in John's Gospel, this is actually the first time that he speaks of the disciples' need to love one another. Love that was not a new idea. Even back in Leviticus, there was injunctions to love your neighbor as yourself. But perhaps what is new here is the depth, the degree of that love. the extent of that love, the self-sacrifice of that love. Perhaps what is new here is the example that God gives us of what it means to love one another. The example of God's self manifested and made human in the person of Christ. It's love that doesn't stop just when it's inconvenient. It doesn't stop when it's painful. It's love that continues on even in spite of betrayal and rejection. At this moment in the gospel, he gives them this command to love one another the moment after Judas leads them to betray Christ. And he reminds them of the need to love one another. He reminds them of the need to love one another just before they abandon him in the garden, just before Peter denies him 3 times. And what he leaves them with is the command to love one another. The command. That is our origin. That is where we come from. We are rooted, we are grounded in love. Love is what has brought us to where we are, and love is the only thing that can bring us forward into the future. Because without that, without love, then there is no point. If we don't love, then there's no point to this building. Without love, there's no point to gathering every week. If we are not delving deeper, day by day, into the heart of love, expressing that love to one another, learning how to love God, then why do we come? Love is the point. Love is both the destination and the road. Love is what leads us into that final destination where God is calling us towards. That New Jerusalem that we just heard about in the book of Revelation. The city of God, the city of the Holy One, where all sorrows are wiped away, where all tears, all sadness are no more, where God is with his people. That is where Christ is pointing us towards. We look back, not just to relive history, but so we can be further guided towards the future, so we can delve deeper into the heart of love. Love is both the path and the destination. Without that, there is no point. If we can grasp that, if we can grasp love, how to love God, how to express our love for one another, then 250 years from now, we will still be praising and celebrating and rejoicing in this light and splendor of God. Our voices will ring throughout eternity if we can grasp love. If we can do that, what more could we possibly ask for?